Food prices were supposed to settle by now. Energy rates were supposed to be stable. Gas prices were expected to cool down once global markets adjusted. That was the message seniors heard again and again, from politicians, from economists, from news anchors telling them that relief was coming soon. But 2026 arrived, and instead of stability, seniors are staring at a cost of living crisis that refuses to slow down. Every grocery trip feels like a financial ambush. Every utility bill feels heavier than the one before. Every fill up at the gas station leaves seniors wondering how much longer their budgets can stretch before something breaks. The prices rise faster than their income, and the gap between what they can afford and what they need widens every single month. Retirement was built on the idea that fixed income could provide stability. Seniors planned around predictable expenses, modest inflation, and the security of Social Security or pension payments. But those assumptions are collapsing. Instead of slow, manageable increases, seniors are facing shockwaves across every major category of spending. Food costs jump unpredictably. Power rates spike without warning. Gas prices swing so dramatically that retirees feel dizzy trying to track them. Nothing stays stable long enough to plan ahead. Seniors who spent their lives being careful with money now feel like the rules changed overnight, and the new rules were written to drain them dry. Grocery stores once offered a sense of routine. Seniors knew what to expect. They could walk down the aisles and pick up familiar brands without carrying a calculator in their heads. Now every aisle feels like a reminder of how quickly money disappears. Items that were once affordable staples, bread, eggs, milk, chicken, fresh produce, now feel like luxuries. Seniors stand in front of shelves staring at prices that make no sense. They hold a can of soup and wonder how something so basic can cost so much. They hesitate before placing meat in the cart, aware that a few simple choices could blow their entire weekly budget. Food inflation doesn't rise gently anymore. It jumps. It spikes. It surges. There is no rhythm to it. One week an item costs $5, the next week it's $8, then $9, then back to $7 before skyrocketing again. Seniors can't plan for those swings. They don't have extra income to absorb the randomness. Their budgets rely on predictability, but the grocery store no longer provides it. They leave the store with fewer items and higher receipts, afraid of what next month's prices will look like. Those who once bought fresh fruits and vegetables now choose canned alternatives because they last longer and cost less per serving. Those who once cooked chicken or beef regularly now stretch meals with pasta and rice. Seniors who once enjoyed baking or preparing comfort food now skip ingredients because they simply cannot afford them. The joy of cooking right-pointing arrow replaced by stress and anxiety. The kitchen table, which once symbolized family and warmth, now reminds retirees of everything they can no longer afford. Energy costs add another layer of fear. California utilities have raised rates so aggressively that seniors no longer feel in control of their own homes. They monitor thermostat temperatures closely, terrified of touching the heat or air conditioning. They sit through hot days without cooling because they fear opening the next electric bill. They bundle up in blankets on cold nights instead of using their heaters. Their home, once a place of comfort, now feels like a space where they must constantly choose between physical well-being and financial survival. Utility companies point to wildfire safety improvements, infrastructure upgrades, and climate-related risks as reasons behind the rising bills. Seniors don't argue with the need for safety. They simply don't understand why all the financial burden lands on them. They look at their monthly bills and can't believe how fast the numbers increase. They call customer service and wait on hold for an hour only to be told that prices are higher because costs are being passed through to customers. Retirees feel powerless hearing that. They can't negotiate rates. They can't shop around. They can't opt for a cheaper alternative. The power company bills them whatever it wants, and seniors must pay it or risk losing electricity entirely. Homeowners with older houses face even bigger struggles. Older wiring, outdated appliances, and poor insulation lead to higher consumption. Replacing these systems costs thousands, money seniors don't have. They're stuck in homes that require more energy while paying the highest rates in the country. Many seniors feel like they're being punished for aging, punished for staying in their homes, punished for not having enough income to modernize. They didn't choose to grow old in a state with climbing energy prices, but they're forced to bear the full weight of those changes anyway. Gas prices add another blow. Seniors who rely on vehicles for medical appointments, grocery shopping, and daily errands now spend more at the pump than they ever imagined possible. Every fill-up forces them to shift money away from other critical needs. They reorganize their schedules to reduce driving. They skip social events. They drive less frequently to keep fuel costs manageable. The freedom of having a car, something many seniors depend on for independence, is slowly slipping away. Fuel prices swing at the slightest global tension. A refinery issue on the other side of the world raises California prices overnight. New environmental regulations add unexpected costs. State taxes increase automatically every year. Seniors watch the numbers at the pump rise and fall like a cruel game they never agreed to play. They don't understand why prices change so quickly. They only know that each change cuts deeper into their already limited income. For seniors in rural areas, gas prices hit especially hard. They drive miles to reach pharmacies, hospitals, or grocery stores. Their vehicles are lifelines, not luxuries. Yet they're paying more for fuel than people in almost any other state. Some seniors have resorted to rationing trips, combining errands, or skipping appointments because they cannot justify the fuel expense. Others feel trapped in their homes, isolated and alone, because the cost of driving anywhere has become overwhelming. Food, energy, and gas price inflation doesn't just drain wallets. It drains dignity. Seniors who spent decades working and contributing now feel embarrassed at the checkout line. They avoid eye contact when removing items from their cart because the total is higher than expected. They worry about expressing financial hardship to their children, not wanting to burden them. They look at bank statements and wonder where their stability went. Retirement wasn't supposed to feel like this. Inflation hits seniors differently than younger adults. There's no raise coming. No sudden promotion. No opportunity to take on more work. Seniors cannot simply increase their income to match rising prices. Their financial resources are fixed, and every price spike takes a permanent bite out of them. The fear here is not temporary strain, it is long-term erosion. The real danger for seniors is how quickly savings disappear when essentials cost more each month. A modest nest egg that once provided comfort now feels like a fragile barrier against poverty. Food banks report that more seniors are relying on donations than ever before. These are people who never imagined they would need assistance. They go with humiliation, worried someone might recognize them. They stand quietly in line, clutching bags of canned goods and hoping nobody asks questions. Many of them worked their whole lives. They paid their taxes. They served their communities. Yet desperation drives them to places they never expected to be. Health becomes another victim of inflation. Seniors who cannot afford fresh produce or lean proteins face nutritional deficiencies. Those who skip meals struggle with weakness, dizziness, and fatigue. Some ration medications because co-pays have risen alongside everything else. They delay doctors' visits because fuel and healthcare costs together create an impossible choice. Their bodies bear the punishment of financial instability, turning daily life into a constant battle between physical need and financial reality. Inflation touches every corner of seniors' lives, even beyond the basics. Insurance premiums rise. Co-pays increase. Water bills climb due to drought-related surcharges. Waste collection fees rise due to fuel and labor costs. Internet service increases because providers claim higher infrastructure expenses. Everything costs more, even the things retirees barely use. Seniors are drowning in fees that never seem to stop multiplying. The psychological strain builds slowly but relentlessly. Seniors check their mail with dread, fearing the next bill will be the one they cannot pay. They monitor bank balances daily, terrified of overdrafts. They lose sleep worrying about long-term survival. They feel helpless watching their financial safety net shrink every month. Retirement stops being peaceful and becomes a cycle of stress, fear, and uncertainty. Many seniors wonder how long they can stay in California. They love the weather, the scenery, the memories, and the family members nearby. But love doesn't reduce grocery store totals. Love doesn't lower utility bills. Seniors start questioning whether remaining in the state is sustainable. They browse online listings in cheaper states, shocked by how far their income could stretch elsewhere. For some, leaving becomes the only path to survival. But leaving also means emotional loss, uprooting a lifetime of relationships, history, and identity. Those who stay face impossible choices. They cut back on everything they can, but nothing seems to help. They eliminate cable TV, adjust thermostat settings, downsize vehicles, reduce medication refills, avoid social outings, and still the numbers don't balance. Inflation is rising faster than their ability to adapt. They feel trapped in a continuous loop with no escape and no support from leaders who claim things are improving. When seniors ask why prices continue to rise, the answers they receive feel distant and disconnected. Economists talk about global supply chain pressure, geopolitical conflict, climate impacts, fuel shortages, and infrastructure upgrades. None of that helps seniors when they're standing at the checkout aisle with a bank account that shrinks faster than it grows. Seniors feel these explanations are excuses, not solutions. They want relief, not theories. They want stability, not promises. Social Security cost of living adjustments help briefly, but they never keep up with real expenses. The adjustments are calculated based on limited categories, missing many areas where seniors actually spend money. By the time the increase arrives, inflation has already moved ahead. Seniors feel like they're chasing a moving target with a slow, broken system that cannot keep pace with the real world. Many seniors fear a future where basic living becomes unaffordable. They imagine a time when they cannot pay for both food and electricity. They imagine choosing between driving to a medical appointment and buying groceries. They think about their children and grandchildren, wondering how future generations will survive in a world where everything costs more every year. They worry about long-term care expenses and nursing home costs that could wipe out the rest of their savings. Fear becomes a constant presence, an unwanted companion that shadows their days. As prices rise, seniors notice smaller changes too. Portions shrink in grocery stores. Packaging gets lighter. Products that once lasted weeks now run out in days. Companies claim it's temporary efficiency adjustments, but seniors see it for what it is: another way to charge more while giving less. They feel tricked every time they open a box of cereal or a bag of coffee. The sense of being cheated accumulates and deepens resentment. Energy companies introduce new fees that feel arbitrary. System reliability charges, grid stabilization fees, hazard mitigation surcharges. Seniors don't understand what these charges mean. They only know the bottom line keeps growing. They feel like prey in a system designed to extract money from those least capable of resisting. They wonder how companies can increase profits while pleading financial hardship to justify rate hikes. Gas stations follow similar patterns. Prices jump overnight, then settle slightly lower, creating the illusion of improvement when in reality the average cost keeps climbing. Seniors call this yo-yo pricing, designed to confuse consumers. They plan their errands around gas prices like military strategies, waiting for the right day to fill up even though they know relief is temporary. Grocery stores use similar tactics. Sales become less frequent. Discounts shrink. Seniors clip coupons hoping to save pennies while corporations record record earnings. They cannot understand how companies profit so much during times when consumers struggle. They feel abandoned by systems that claim to support them while actively draining their resources. The fear intensifies as seniors realize that these rising costs are not isolated events. They feed into each other. When gas prices rise, shipping costs rise, making groceries more expensive. When energy prices rise, food prices rise because processing and refrigeration cost more. When water becomes scarce, produce becomes pricier. Every cost connects. Every increase snowballs. Seniors feel trapped in a chain reaction they cannot stop. For renters, inflation hits even harder. Seniors on fixed incomes see their rent rise each year, often by hundreds of dollars they don't have. Landlords cite higher insurance, utilities, and taxes as reasons behind increases. Seniors face the choice of paying higher rent or facing eviction. Many are too old to navigate stressful moves. They fear ending up homeless, an unthinkable nightmare for people who spent their entire lives working. Homeowners aren't immune. Property taxes grow despite stagnant income. Insurance premiums rise dramatically due to fire risks and climate concerns. Maintenance costs skyrocket as contractors charge more for labor and materials. Seniors who hoped their paid-off homes would provide stability now face new expenses that threaten their ability to remain in place. Everything feels heavier in 2026. Seniors describe life as a constant series of calculations. They tally grocery prices as they shop. They calculate the cost of turning on the stove. They plan laundry around cooler times of day to save electricity. They ration gas by combining errands. They measure medication supplies carefully. Life becomes mathematics rather than living. None of this is what retirement should feel like. Seniors spent decades imagining peaceful days, family time, hobbies, relaxation, enjoyment. Instead, retirement has turned into a financial survival exercise. Many seniors feel cheated out of the life they earned. Inflation robbed them of their golden years and replaced them with fear. Some seniors break down emotionally. They cry in private so their families don't worry. They carry shame that isn't theirs to carry. They feel like burdens even though they never asked for this situation. Their pride, once strong, begins to erode. They feel invisible in public policy discussions. They feel overlooked by leaders who dismiss their struggles as temporary when seniors know these changes are not temporary at all. What makes all this harder is that seniors watched prices rise for years while hearing empty reassurances that inflation was cooling, stabilizing, or soon to reverse. These predictions never materialized. Instead, seniors are paying more in 2026 than they did in 2025, and more than they did in 2024. Every promise for relief has evaporated. They feel misled by experts and ignored by lawmakers. Their frustration grows as they realize nobody is coming to rescue them financially. The path forward looks frightening. Seniors worry that inflation will keep accelerating. They wonder how long Social Security can support them. They question whether they should move, downsize, or leave California entirely. They question whether they will outlive their savings. These thoughts haunt them. They try to remain optimistic, but the rising prices overshadow everything. The fear remains constant. Fear of bills, fear of shortages, fear of emergencies, fear of uncertainty. Seniors who once felt confident now wake each day unsure of what new price increases await them. Retirement isn't peaceful, it's unpredictable. Survival has become the daily goal. Seniors are fighting to hold on to stability in a world where everything grows more expensive faster than they can adjust. They deserve better than lives defined by financial fear. They deserve dignity. They deserve respect. And they deserve a system that acknowledges their struggle instead of pretending it doesn't exist.